All right. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. This lesson is going to be a pretty much a response to this Apostle Tar's video that he did. This was going back to, let's see, January 8th, today being January 12th, 2018. I've been wanting to do a lesson on this. I had some scriptures that I had jotted down, and kind of want to go through them because pretty much, 2018, we're in the year of prophecy, and pretty much there's prophecies that are popping up left and right. And one of the main prophecies outside of the mark of the beast, which is the microchip being implemented upon the earth, is thermonuclear destruction and the missiles. And the scriptures speak about the missiles. They speak about them in code. They don't speak about them like directly unless your eyes are open. They speak in code because that's how the Bible is written. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 3. This is Yahweh Shai speaking. It says, "My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. I will incline mine ear to a parable. I will open my dark sayings upon a harp." Because these scriptures are pretty much a mystery to the world. The only ones that this knowledge is not a mystery to is to the is the water brother, and shalom to anybody, any of the brothers, any of the Akim out there that are watching. Shalom. And if there's any Akwath, shalom also. But these mysteries of the Bible are not mysteries unto the prophets. That's why it says Amos 3:7, "Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets." So the Bible speaks in code, Like I said, shalom to the Akim on the comment boards. So the Lord speaks in code, So that's what we read here in Psalms 49:4. "I will incline mine ear to a parable. I will open my dark saying upon the harp." Now, the word for parable is mashal. It says apparently from Mashal 49:10, in some original sense of superiority in mental action. And it is superiority in mental action because not everyone is given the keys to understand the mysteries of the Bible. That's why it's written in code. And only the Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodash, can open up our minds to understand it. And if I didn't say that at the beginning, Salakia, I'd like to say Barakatah Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Ruach HaKodash. If I didn't say it, Salakia. But it is superiority and mental action because the Lord is using the Holy Spirit to open up our minds to understand these scriptures, to be able to prophesy and teach and tell the world what's going to happen before it actually comes. It says proverb, parable, proverb, proverbial saying, aphorism. Let's look up this word aphorism. A pithy observation that contains a general truth, such as if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. So these are like terminologies or adages, as they call them. It says byword, similitude, parable, poem, sentence of ethical wisdom, ethical maxims. So that's what it is. There's sentences of ethical wisdom, and not everyone is going to understand. That's why it said, "I will incline my ear to a parable. I will open my dark sayings upon a harp," because these are dark sayings, and it's only given to the prophets. "Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets." So what I want to do is, through the Spirit, go do a response to Apostle Tahar's video, Babylon Overthrown, as with Sodom and Gomorrah, and go into some precepts on this. So the part I want to deal with is I want to deal with something that the scriptures call the lake of fire, or the second death. Now let's deal with that. We read here in the book of Revelation 20 and 4. Now, as we read that these are dark sayings in the book of Revelation, the 20th chapter, sometimes the scriptures jump around. You know, sometimes it's talking about one event in one time frame, and then it jumps to the future, or it jumps back to the past. I'm gonna give you one quick example before I read it. The book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter, right? And I'm gonna go to the 7th verse. Now, this is dealing with, when you read Isaiah 60th chapter, it speaks about us being woken up, and it speaks about the nations going into slavery, right? So when you read the 7th verse, it says, "All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee," meaning these Ishmaelites. They're gonna their substance is gonna be turned over to us, the stuff that they stole. And pretty much we're going to have possession of the whole world. "The rams of Nebajoth shall minister unto thee," which is the same, another son of Ishmael. "They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory." Now it's speaking about slavery, right? And now it goes on to say, "Who are these that fly as a cloud and as the doves of to their windows?" This another totally different sentiment, another total different thing. So when Isaiah was writing this, he was writing about slavery. Then all of a sudden, a quick flash of the chariots came, and he wrote that down. Who are these that fly as a cloud and as doves to their window? And then quickly, right after he wrote that, after he saw that vision, he went right back to the other vision. It says, surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, and their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee." So you see how the scriptures, sometimes they jump from one topic to another, or sometimes they jump from one time frame to another, which is the case here in Revelation 20. Because when you read from the first verse, it's talking about during the time when Esau went down. But then when you jump onto the 4th verse, meaning when he went down during the time after 70 AD, and after the pagan Roman Empire fell. And then when you jump to the 4th verse, you're thinking it's talking about the same 1,000 years as it's talking about in the 3rd verse, but it's not. This 1,000 years period in Revelation 20 and 4 is speaking about in the kingdom of heaven. All right, so this is Revelation 20 and 4. "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahushua 1,000 years." So this is talking about future prophecy. It's talking about the kingdom of heaven, that the men that the elect of Yahweh Shai that make it through will be reigning with Yahushua in the kingdom for that 1,000-year period, because it's going to be a 1,000-year period of reign. And then after that, the nations are going to go back to, they're going to already be in their lands, but they're going to be allowed a little more freedom, so to speak, but they will still be tributaries under us, and they will still have to keep and follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And if they go off, they're gonna get served, But Esau, after this 1,000-year period of the first 1,000-year period reign in the kingdom, he's gonna be totally wiped out. All right. So this is what we're reading about right here, this 1,000 years. All right. So it says, "But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished." Meaning what? This is dealing with the other nations. All right. They are the dead. The other nations, for that 1,000-year period, they're gonna be in a hardcore slavery also, along with Esau, And then after that 1,000-year period, then they're gonna give it a little reprieve, so to speak. All right. But the rest of the dead lived out again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. So the first resurrection is when the Israelites of the Most High, the elect, and the nation of Israel is ruling, beginning with the 144,000 and also the 1/3. Okay, that's the first resurrection. This is the book of Micah, Uh, let me see. Just bear with me 1 second. I believe it's either Micah or it's a Lamentation. I believe it was Micah. It's a 3rd chapter. Trying to remember how it's worded. Just bear with me 1 second, brothers. Here it is, Micah 4:8. And thou, tower of the flock, which is what? The prophets, the 144,000, the men, the leaders, the governing body of Israel. And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion. What's the first dominion? That's the first rule in the kingdom. The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. So the ones that make it through, that are part of the elect, they're going to be the first rulers, in the kingdom of heaven. And that's why it says here, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. That's the other nations. This is the first resurrection. What's the first resurrection? What's spoken of here in Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. How they will rule on thrones with Yahushua. It says, "Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection." Why? Because they won't taste of the destruction that's coming. Right? It says, on such the second death hath no power. So we got to find out what this second death is. So it says, on such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of the Most High and of Yahushua, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. So this second death is what we want to focus on. So when we jump down to the 14th verse, it says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. So this lake of fire, it says, this is the second death. So this lake of fire that's going to come, that's going to put an end to Esau's rulership, that is the second death. It says, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. And let's read Revelation 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars they shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. All right. So what is this second death? This second death is dealing with thermonuclear destruction. All right. So jumping on into 2 Peter 3:3, because the first death was what? The flood. And that's how the earth was destroyed the first time. That was the first major judgment that the Most High brought upon the earth and upon the men back then. This second death is going to be by fire. The first one was by water. The second one's going to be by fire. This is going to be the thermonuclear destruction, or the lake of fire, that's going to consume Babylon the Great, America. 2 Peter 3:3, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last day scoffers walking after their own lusts. And that's the reason why you have scoffers. Why? Because it was prophesied that they would come. And pretty much, what do scoffers do? They just talk shit. But that's all right. Let them talk this shit. And shalom to the Akim again on the comment board. Excuse me. Salakia. Yeah, let them talk their shit, because that's what they were appointed to do. It says, in saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue on as they were from the beginning of the creation. And that's the main reason why these scoffers are talking shit, is because they don't see the bigger picture. They don't see the end coming. They don't see the end approaching. All they see is men out there speaking, and they thinking that it's of man. They have no clue or no idea of who or what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua are all about. B'Shem Rakah HaKudash. They have no idea or no clue what they're all about. And that's why they talking their shit. But there's an actual spirit on them to make them do this. And there's an actual spirit on them, which are demons, that make them think that what they're doing is actually a noble cause. That's what's so scary about it. It says, for this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old. What heavens? Meaning those old empires that were ruling on the earth, such as Nimrod's empire, that were ruling on the earth. I'm sorry, not Nimrod's empire. And prior to Nimrod's empire, the empires that were ruling before, or the people that were ruling before, those heavens back then of old, by the same word, right? It says, for this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. And that was the actual first death. That's what brought about the first death. It says, so whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. It says, but the heavens and the earth, which are now, so these rulerships that are in place right now, beginning with Esau and the other nations, by the same word, because it's the same word that was spoken of back then, because everything that we doing now is pretty much the movie playing out from the script that the Most High, the architect, wrote and gave to Yahushua. Then Yahushua created the angels and all the spirits, and then everything you see today. So it's just being, but it's the same word that brought the flood upon the earth, and that brought all the different things that happened in the past all the way up until today. It says, but the heaven and the earth, which are now, by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So the second death that we read about, Revelation 20:14, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. This is what it's talking about. It's talking about fire. And then Lord's will, we'll read on in 2 Peter, to show you even more proof that it's talking about this fire. So this world that we see now, like these guys talking about the missiles ain't in the scriptures, they don't know, they can't read this. They're spiritually retarded. The Lord has blocked their minds. It made them reprobates. All right. So now let's move on. So because this second death is leading up to it. That's the reason why you had the different scientists, and you had all the different things that happen on the planet, and different testings, and this guy Oppenheimer making a statement from the Bhagavad Gita, I am death, the destroyer of nations, or something like that, or the destroyer of worlds. And because all of this was stuff that led up to what you got today. What is the instrument today? These missiles. All right. And that's how America, Babylon the Great, is going to be destroyed. How the same way that the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, but the ancient Sodom and Gomorrah was actually destroyed by fire, because the Most High caused the elements in the heavens to come together to form this fire to come down and rain upon Sodom and Gomorrah back then. All right. So now moving on, Malachi 4:1, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. So this day that's coming, that's going to burn as an oven, how is that going to be fulfilled? Well, we know by the missiles. But let me get this scripture real quick. I believe it's Matthew 6, and just bear with me 1 second. I believe it's the 6th chapter. Right here. Matthew 6:30. Wherefore, if the Most High so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven. What's that oven? The thermonuclear destruction, which is the second death. Shall he not much more clothe you, or ye a little faith? So the Lord, even though even the grass, I mean, everything here in America is going to be burnt up. There's a reason why the scriptures call it the line of confusion, because everything here is going to be burnt up, whether it's cattle, whether it's people, whether it's grass, whether it's trees, whether it's cars, refineries, supermarkets, malls, whatever. It's all going to be burnt up. And it speaks about that in the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. The elements. Matter of fact, let me just go back to that. Revelation 3, and I'll jump down to the 10th verse. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. And what are the heavens? It's talking about these different rulerships of Esau on the planet. And they're going to pass away with a great noise, because once the missiles hit, there's going to be a lot of noise that's going to be made from the nuclear missiles. Once they hit and devastate, it says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And what's that fervent heat? It's coming in the form of nuclear fire. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. And that's the second death. All right. So moving on back to Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. And what's going to cause that? That's these missiles. And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Okay. And that's the judgment upon this place called America, Babylon the Great. Salaki, brothers. Zechariah 14:12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Now, what is able to do that? What is able to consume your flesh while you're standing up on your feet? That nuclear fire, you know? And they show you that in these different movies, like Terminator, you know, Judgment Day, you know, the one where Sarah Connor had that vision where she was holding on to the fence and you see the fire coming. You know, that is actually how it's going to go down. And that just proves to you how Apostle Gabar always says that you have this these producers of Hollywood that actually read the scriptures to get ideas for movies. Yeah, the brother Damashapad said there is still high Geiger counter readings of radiation around it. What used to be Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah, that's down in southern of the I believe is that the Dead Sea or the Salt Sea? You know, that the River Jordan connects to it, you know, down in that region, you know, not too far from Esau's land. That around that area, that was where Sodom and Gomorrah was. It says their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Why? Because this is the judgment of the Lord. All right. It says that in their tongue, it said their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. They show you that also in a movie called The Day After, you know, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That's dealing with that nuclear fire that's coming. That's that lake of fire. Moving on, Isaiah 54:16, because the Lord gave him this technology, and he gave him, you know, the ability to split these atoms and to manipulate these elements to create this nuclear fusion. First it was hydrogen, atomic, and all of that, and now it's nuclear, which is far more devastating than any other bomb that they've ever created, you know. But it was set. See, they're thinking that they got it for their protection, you know, against the other nations, you know, so that they can go around and rob them. And if they talk shit, they'll so we got the bomb, we'll fuck you up. Remember what we did to Hiroshima and Nagasaki? You better shut the hell up. Just give us your goods, you know. But they didn't realize that was to their own destruction. Because these missiles the technology of the missile that the Lord gave them was set up for the Most High's judgment to fulfill prophecy upon Babylon the Great. Isaiah 54:16, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. So the Most High is the one that created the waster to destroy. And what is the instrument for his work? That's dealing with these missiles. And the missiles were set up by the Most High to give to these devils so that they can destroy each other and fulfill the Most High's prophecy, to show you how cold the Most High is, man. And he said, and I have created the waster to destroy. So these scientists that have been making these weapons, you know, these missiles, pretty much the Lord gave them that technology to destroy themselves, you know, which they don't. That's how retarded this devil is. Isaiah 9:5, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So the ancient wars were fought by men going on the battlefield, you know, with different sorts of armor and shields and weapons. This particular war that's going to be fought, which is World War III, is going to be fought by a thermonuclear destruction, by fire, because this is the war to end all wars. And then after that, Yahweh's kingdom is set up, and we being joint heirs with him will be set up with him. And all these different weapons that are left on the earth are going to be burnt up. because there's not going to be any more a war anymore. And whatever is left, they're gonna take those instruments of war and turn them into instruments of agriculture, because they're going into slavery. All right. So moving on, Job 20 and damn thing moved on me. Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So while they're in the midst of creating or establishing his new world order, the Lord is going to rain this nuclear fire upon this man's kingdom. Matter of fact, let me get this real quick. Job chapter 5. Verse 12, it says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And they're not going to be able to accomplish this new world order. They're going to get it in place to a certain degree, just like they're doing now. But there's going to come a point where the Most High is going to throw that monkey wrench in there. And what they're trying to establish on the planet is a utopian society where they're ruling, over everybody, and everybody is slaves, and they're trying to establish this utopian society, which, Lord's will, I got a lesson that I've had for a couple of weeks. I've been trying to get to. Lord's will, I get to it. And the word utopia basically means no place, because they have tried many times to set up a utopian society, but it hasn't worked. And to Esau, there's no place like that, because it's a place of peace and prosperity, where everybody's supposed to be doing good. And it's true that not everybody is going to be doing good, just the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven, but there will be a utopia set up for the nation of Israel. The brother Karatazar from Vegas put a scripture up, Psalms 11:6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. That's right. And that's what we're waiting for the Lord to destroy this place. So it says, Job 5:12, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Yep. So going back to Job, it says, he shall flee from the iron weapon. And what is this iron weapon? This iron weapon are the missiles, which are going to bring about what's called the second death in the scriptures. And the bow of steel shall strike him through. So this instrument of the Lord is what's going to strike this devil through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. What is that body? It's talking about the silos, the nuclear silos. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall, because when it comes out, a glittering sword is something that shines. So when it comes out of that body, when the sun hits it, the metal shine, but also that fire that comes out from underneath it is glittering. It says, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. It comes out of those silos. It says, terrors are upon him. That's why it says in the book of Job 18:11, it says, terror shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet. Because once those missiles are shot, that's it. It's over. And it's going to be nothing but the horror and it just, people are going to be dropping dead of heart attacks and all of that, man, because the devastation and just the magnitude and the just the thought of those missiles coming, raining down and about to fuck you up. You burn your finger on the stove and you're cursing and catching hell, from that. So just imagine taking a bath in nuclear fire. So back to Job 20:25, it is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. All darkness shall be hidden in secret places, because their plans of the new world order are going to die right with them in those shelters. In other words, they're not going to die; they're going to be alive, but their plans are going to die. They're going to be shut up in those secret places. That's the furthest it's going to go after the devastation and destruction comes. A fire not blown shall consume them. Why? Because these missiles are already propelled by fire. It says, it shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And that's why you see the things happening now. these different storms and different fucked up weather patterns. Whether they manipulating them or not, it's still of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So the earth is rising up against these devils. It says the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And who is this? This is dealing with Russia and all those different, because Russia was known as a Soviet Union at one time, United States of Soviet Union, or something along those lines, something along those lines. I believe it was USSR, United States of the Soviet Russia, something like that. And after a while, they were broken up. So you still have some remnants of these ancient lands of Russia that are coming back together with them. You know, so all of those different states up there that have missiles, because they don't have just missiles in just St. Peter's Square, you know. I'm sure they got missiles all over Russia, different places. So it says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, because Russia is going to be one of the major countries that's going to shoot missiles over here, but it's also going to be them other nations that have the missile, because you got India that has the missile. You know, you have the different European nations that have missiles, and the allies of America are going to help destroy this place too, because these devils don't play fair, man. You're dealing with the devil, you know. So all these people are going to be mad, and the Lord's going to put that spirit on them to destroy this. They're going to have one thing in mind: destroy America. Destroy Babylon the Great. Their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. So all missiles, no matter where they're at, are going to be shot. And they're not going to return in vain, because they have a purpose. They're going to have the spirit of the Most High in them. And the spirit of the Most High is purpose to destroy this place called America, Babylon the Great. The land of Israel is going to be totally destroyed. And there may be some other places on the earth that'll get hit, but not as devastating as America and the land of Israel. All right, this is jumping from there to 2nd Ezra 16, and just bear with me 1 second. I had these set up, but okay, I started 12. The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. Because, you know, everything's going to be shaken, man. You know, because people are going to be afraid. The Yahushai and the angels are going to be in the skies with the chariots. You know, missiles are going to be breaking out. Riots are going to be, are going to be all over the place. Fires are going to be all over the place. Wars, you know, people killing each other. There's going to be all different type of stuff. That's what the scriptures say, that it's going to be at the time as never was since there was a nation on the planet, on this planet. You know, it says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. What is that bow? It's talking about the silo. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and the arrows represent the missiles. It says, and shall not miss. Why? Because the Lord himself is going to guide them where he wants them to go when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. And there's a reason why it's called ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, because it's shot from one continent to the other. And once it's shot out of the silos, the Lord is going to guide those missiles where he wants them to go. It says, behold, the plagues are sent. And these are plagues, because did not we read in Zechariah, where was it? Did not we read in Zechariah 14? It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. You know, so these are the plagues. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again, because you can't stop it. Once it's out the gate, you can't stop it until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out. till it consumed the foundation of the earth, till this devil's kingdom is totally brought down. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backwards, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. And that's right, because this is the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and his words have to be fulfilled, because he's not a man that he should lie. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Because Ezra actually saw the devastation. That's why he was able to write about it. So these things are going to happen because the ancient prophets wrote about it, because they actually saw it happening. But they saw it happening in a different dimension. Okay? They saw it happening in a different dimension. You know, and this devastation is going to be, it's going to be something, man. It's going to bring it's going to bring a big change to this world, and rightly so, because the ones that are ruling are wicked, man. I mean, they're just wicked beyond wicked. You know, it's just like man, when is the Lord going to take these devils down? You know, that's the sentiment. You know, so that's why we're supposed to be crying out to the Lord to take this devil down. You know, so pretty much, you know, that's been my take on Babylon overthrown as was Sodom and Gomorrah. A video put up by Apostle Elder Tahar, January 8th, today being January 12th. I did want to get to this lesson sooner, but Spirit had me do it now. Lord's will, I want to get into another topic dealing with the utopia. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it today, later on today, Lord's will, or when I get a chance to get to it, you know, and, you know, because pretty much we're coming down to the wire. You know, this is 2018, January 12th, the year of prophecy, and major things are happening and are going to happen. And there's so much stuff going on that it's impossible to keep up with everything. You know, even though all the videos that brothers are doing to expose this devil, it still don't have enough men to complete the mission, so to speak. But the Lord is going to complete it. Leave you brothers with this scripture here in the book of Matthew 9. I know I go to it a lot, but it's very poignant. Matthew 9:37. Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. You know, and that's what we praying to the Lord, you know, to send the righteous men that are going to be the right laborers, you know. And I want to say one more thing too. You brothers out there, we come into some serious times. So just because you see a guy that comes on the comment boards and says shalom, you know, hey, shalom, Akim, and this, you can't just trust anybody, man. No, brothers got to be sharp, got to be watchful, you know, got to be circumspect, as the scriptures say, because these devils are coming with all type of tricks, you know, and you have to be careful, you know, who you accept, who you talk to, who you know, engaging with. You know, we have to, you know, be more mindful of the things that we say. You know, like the Apostle Tar did a video called "Let Your Speech Be Seasoned with Salt," which comes from Colossians, the 4th chapter. You know, we have to be mindful of the things we say and how we say them, because these devils are looking for anything, you know, and they're sending these flunkies. You know, they'll come on the comment and say, hey, shalom. And then, you know, you being simple is, hey, shalom. You exchange information. You know, he's calling you, you calling him, he getting all kind of information from you, and you don't know he's setting you up, you know. So we have to be very mindful of that, you know, especially in these times, you know. But whatever the case is, whatever this devil's going to do, he's going to do. But when he makes his move, that's when the Most High Yahweh Bashem Shai is going to make his move. This is Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west. And we're in the Western Hemisphere, and we do fear the name of the Most High. And that's why we constantly uplifting those names, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, meaning when these devils come in with their military might and to do all different manner of wickedness to establish a new world order, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And that standard is going to come by way of the Lord intervening, you know, with some miracle, and also by way of spiritual power, you know, because the Lord is going to give us that power, man. You know, you got these guys talking about you got to go to the land of Israel to get the spiritual power. That just shows you, man, the Most High, man, he ain't playing, man. He ain't playing. All right, brothers, you know, FBI already grabbing dudes up. Oh yeah, well, I mean, I know that there's been incidents where FBI agents have rolled on brothers in different camps. You know, I know about that, but I mean, if there's anything else, you know, I mean, y'all brothers could bring it out. You know, because I know for a fact out in LA and even up in Washington, you know, the state of Washington, these devils have approached brothers, you know, and let them know that they were actually FBI agents, you know, trying to extract information from brothers, you know. So you got to be very, very, very leery of these devils, and also of women. You know, women, you know, fine ass women coming to you, hey, how you doing? I just want, you know, get what you just gotta. I mean, pretty much you just gotta be circumspect on all levels, man. You know, no, redeeming the time for the days of evil. You know, we're coming into these perilous times, and these devils are not playing. They trying to establish something, and we are a thorn in their side. You know, we're like that. To them, we're a eyesore. You know, so they're gonna try whatever they can to take us out, so that they can establish their new world order. Because we're standing in their way. You know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know, so just be careful. Like I said, you go out there, be mindful, brothers at the camp. You know, be watchful. Don't just be on your, you know, at the camp holding posts, playing with your phone, texting your fucking girl, you know, playing footsies with her on the fucking phone. You know, keep a watchful eye. I mean, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is with us, you know, but we still, you know, the Lord said to be vigilant. For your adversary as a roaring lion seeketh whom he may devour. It says be circumspect. You know, watch your surroundings, you know. You know, so, you know, I just, you know, the spirit just compelled me to say that. And I'm just saying that to you, brothers, to be watchful and be mindful. All right. You know, so with that, I hope you brothers have been edified. To the next time I say shalom.